Hello and welcome to another episode of Disney Movie Investigation. If this is your first time watching, welcome to the show. In each episode, we take a look at a movie that is featured on Disney+. On this episode, we're taking a look at an animation sequel as we take a look at Frozen 2. And if you are enjoying these episodes, I do ask that you please hit that subscribe button. That way you'll be notified with each new episode. Now, sit back and enjoy this episode of Disney Movie Investigation. So like I said, today we are covering Frozen 2. This movie was released on November 7th, 2019. It was directed by Chris Buck and Jennifer Lee. The screenplay was Jennifer Lee. The production companies was Walt Disney Feature Animation, and it was distributed by Walt Disney Studios. The budget for this movie was $150 million, and it did a box office return of $1.453 billion. But let's take a look at the production. So producer Peter Del would state on March 31st, 2014, that because of the collaboration between himself, Chris Buck, and Jennifer Lee, that they would envision that a sequel was on its way. The following month, studio chairman Alan Horn said that a sequel would not come immediately as the studio was focusing on adapting Frozen to Broadway. In May of 2014, Bob Iger, Disney CEO, would say that Disney would not force a sequel because they did not want to ruin the integrity of the original film. However, in June of 2014, Disney confirmed that studio COO John Lasseter had authorized her and Buck to start developing a Frozen sequel. On March 12, 2015, it was officially announced that Frozen 2 was on its way and that filmmakers would travel to Norway, Finland, and Iceland for an animation research trip. The team would also decide to make Elsa a mythical hero and Anna a fairy tale hero with no magical powers, and that was the way the story was going to be developed. Voice recordings for the voice actors would begin in September of 2017, and the first completed scenes would be screened at Annecy International Animation Festival in June of 2019. The film would go under significant revisions after a screening in San Diego, and the issue would be that the adults loved the film, but children found the story hard to follow. The song "Show Yourself" was the last section of the film to be added, as it was deemed that it was the key to unlocking the story, and it itself went through major changes in order to make the story make sense to all viewers. Kristen Anderson Lopez and Robert Lopez would return to compose new songs, as well as Christopher Beck would also return to compose the score. Panic at the Disco would provide a cover version of Into the Unknown on the official soundtrack as well. So let's take a look at the voice cast. So we have Idina Menzel, who returns as Elsa, Kristen Bell, who returns as Anna, Josh Gad, who returns to voice Olaf, Jonathan Groff, who voices Kristoff, Martha Pimpleton, who voices Yelena, Sterling K. Brown voices Mateus, Jason Ritter voices Ryder, Rachel Matthews voices Honeymarin, Evan Rachel Wood voices Iduna, and Alfred Molina voices Agnar. In terms of the plot, Anna, Elsa, Kristoff, Olaf, and Sven leave Arendelle to travel to an ancient autumn-bound forest of enchanted lands. They set to find out the origins of Elsa's powers in order to save the kingdom. We'll get into this in a little bit, but that's also a basic, bare bones summary of the plot. This story is very, very complex. So in terms of marketing the movie, however, prior to the first trailer, an Easter egg was placed in Zootopia where a Frozen 2 DVD appears, so kind of giving people a little teaser that it's coming. The first official trailer would debut on February 13th, 2019, and it was viewed 116.4 million times in the first 24 hours. Disney would partner with 140 different brands to promote the film, the highest number for Disney ever for an animated film. These included Enterprise Rent-A-Car, McDonald's, and Lego, among many others, obviously. The voice cast would make several appearances to help promote the film, including Friendsgiving, intros on The Masked Singer, The Women of Impact on National Geographic Wild were some of them. A sing-along version of the film was also released on January 17, 2020. And Megan Harding would reach out to Disney about creating a documentary about the production of the film. So this was ongoing when the film was in production. Working with Lincoln Square Productions, she would shoot about 1,300 hours worth of behind-the-scenes footage. She would edit the footage down to 6 episodes, and it would be released on Disney Plus as a Disney Plus exclusive, Into the Unknown, The Making of Frozen 2, and it would debut on June 26th of 2020. So would I recommend this film? This is one of those movies that gets better the more times you watch it. So originally when I saw it in theaters, I wasn't a big fan of it because I was confused about the story and I didn't understand what was going on. I've watched it now about 3 different times, and every time I watch it, the story becomes more and more clear. So for those of you that watched it first time and didn't really like it, I would recommend that you give it another try because the story starts to unravel itself the more times you watch it. I do like the character animation. I think the effects it's astounding. It's a very beautiful film to watch. Again, I like with the story as I started to understand it more, that it's like it pushes Elsa and Anna to the breaking point, and it really tests them. It's not a traditional villain per se, but it's kind of a internal struggle that both of them go through. So again, I really recommend this movie. I think it's one of those animation is a piece of art films, and I think if you dismiss it the first time, you really ought to give it a second chance. So thank you so much for joining us here on another episode of Disney Movie Investigation. I would invite anyone to please leave a comment below on what they think of Frozen 2. And as we look forward to our next episode, we are going to be exploring an international French film as we take a look at a place worth fighting for. So until next time, I hope you have a magical day, and we will see you real soon.